Unite, defend. Laney land is not for sale. Unite, defend. Laney land is not for sale. Unite, defend. Laney land is not for sale. Unite.
I feel like we're a little more excited. How excited are we about today?
Very excited!
Woo! It's so great to see generations of folks, right? We see students, we see our elder folks, we see the people that have been in this community, that have built this community, and that's what Casa Justa stands for, right? We stand for development without displacement. Yeah, we stand for development that incorporates the people's needs, students' needs, that really listens to the folks that have been here, and we know that this project was not going to be that, right? And so what we wanted to say today is that, first of all, we do thank thank the Peralta board for supporting and being behind the students, behind the community members, behind the organizations, behind their mission, right, which is to support education and then the community here. So we want to thank them for that. We also want to let them know that we will continue to follow them and to follow what they're doing with the land here, because this land is for you all, it's for the students and the community.
We know how important our young people are, our youth, our students. And so I'm going to bring up a motto who's been coming through strong for this coalition as well as a person representing Anakbayan, East Bay, and also Laney College. When indigenous rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When students are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Thank you for everyone for coming out here today, and it's so amazing to see all the allies, all the youth, all the community come out here tonight to celebrate this victory. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the collective effort between the faculty, the students, the community, and everybody who's taken a chance to put their time in to really make this happen. So I just want to congratulate all of you and thank you very much for the work that you've been doing. You know, this was truly a collective effort, so it's important to recognize that. But we also know that this goes beyond the stadium. What we're fighting for is more than just the stadium out of our lands. We're fighting against displacement. We're fighting against gentrification. We're fighting against the militarization of our communities and the poor impacts that it's going to have on particularly working class students of color. So let's remember that. And we know that the fight does not end here. We cannot stress this enough. The fight does not end here. We are going to keep organizing, keep fighting, and keep moving despite all of these challenges to make sure that our people are truly protected and so that our community gets what they need. So do we want free education? Do we want an end to gentrification and displacement? Do we want to defend our immigrant communities?
My name is Brandon Rose. Yeah, I'm here with the community on behalf of the Peralta Board's decision to not consider the Oakland A's building their stadium here. I'm in support of my community because we feel that it'll impact our community here in terms of gentrifying it and displacing the people of the downtown Chinatown area. So it's really all about being in solidarity with my people here and really seeing what's the next steps for this area specifically for Laney students and the community. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
So the stadium would have hurt working people, poor people here?
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? I mean, when we think about the stadium, who's it really going to benefit, right? We have to really think about who's it going to benefit. I mean, we hear about rich investments trying to benefit different communities, but then we see the increase of homelessness in our communities and the increase of poverty rate within our community. And when we look at that, we got to examine specifically who. You know, so we got to disaggregate that and really analyze that data and look into how these rich investments are hurting our communities.
And John L. Fisher, the owner, billionaire, he owns the Gap Corporation. You think he was not really interested in the community?
I mean, I could care less about rich investors and what they want, what they think is right for the community. You know, as a community member of Oakland, you know, I see how much Oakland has changed and who's moving into Oakland and who's being pushed out. So I'm seeing who's displaced. I'm out here in the field. So
Lily Leung.
And you are a teacher, or
I'm a library technician too here at the Laney College Library, and I've been working here for 27 years. And our purpose of coming out tonight is to thank the Board of Trustees and the Chancellor for not, selling our Laney's land. The Laney's land is important for our students and for the staff and faculty who works here.
what would have happened if a stadium had been built here?
If the stadium was built here, that will create traffic congestion. There will be a lot of noise, and then there will be traffic debris, and it's going to be, it's going to be hard for the students to try to focus, continuing with the classes. And that will displace a lot of students, not only the students, but the Chinatown Coalition, the Asian community, and affordable, low-income families will be displaced, and also wildlife will be impacted too.
Well, the owner, John Fisher, has said that they were going to give you money, that the college needs money, and they were going to help you out. You know, that you're saying that help wouldn't have helped if there was
wouldn't have helped because when they were in Oakland Coliseum, they would have. If they want to help, they would have helped then. But then we haven't seen a penny or a dime from the Oakland A's. SEIU 1021.
My name is Keith Welch. I'm the president of Laney College, Association of Students of Laney College.
And you've come here tonight to, you wanted to say that you oppose the stadium. Why has your Associated Students opposed the stadium, and what does that victory mean, and what's going to happen with the campus?
Why we oppose the stadium is that we felt like it was an appropriate response by building a stadium right across the street from a school. You know, you would deal with the noise, the construction, the pollution, the traffic, and all the other things that goes involved with a baseball game and a baseball stadium built across the street from a school campus. And we as the ACLU, ASLC, feel like that was just an appropriate thing to do, is build a stadium across the street from Laney College. It won't help Laney students, it won't help with our educational experience, it won't create jobs for us, it'll just disturb our educational experience.
And there's danger, growing danger of gentrification. Working class people, poor people, African American Latinos not being able to live in Oakland. Is that part of what the stadium would have meant?
Kind of. I feel like if you want to stay in Oakland, you need to somehow have a career that you can afford to stay in Oakland with. And that's what part about going to Laney College offer you. Laney College offers you various vocational training where you can come out and have a career instead of a job. Being a culinary arts student, I try to tell our students it's more to go into culinary arts school than just going to culinary arts school. It's a whole bunch of things that goes involved with you can create a career and not just a job. You know, our students in the culinary department didn't spend thousands of dollars to go work at a concession stand. We spend that money to own the concession stand, not work for nobody.
What's your name?
Lil Bartolo, and I'm an Oakland A's fan, and I've been a fan for 30 years, and I think that the Board of Trustees are showing very short-sightedness in not continuing with the talks. This is a unique opportunity. Major League Baseball doesn't offer to build a ballpark privately funded in a long time, about 50 years.
My name's David Jones. I'm here to thank the board for preventing Laney College and the Board of Trustees in interjecting in the Chancellor's negotiations with the A's. I'm against the corporatization of public education and do not believe that we should be sacrificing the quality of education and the community and the students' education for corporate profit.
And this billionaire, John Fisher, who owns the A's, you don't think he has your interest in mind by building the stadium here? He said he was going to help out the college.
Well, you know, there's a lot of promises made, but, you know, there's no firm number, and, you know, that just sounds like corporate buyout to me. And I think if public officials are entertaining and that kind of thing that it's essentially corruption.
And has the union been involved in this opposition to the stadium?
Yes, the Peralta Federation of Teachers has taken a strong stand against the A's Stadium being built here at Laney College after doing a long and extensive summary of opinion and polls and talking to students and talking to other community leaders and making a final strong decision and strong statement, standing with the students and standing with the community to support public education and support the role of public education in serving this community.
And there's a strong coalition you've built here of people. I mean, are you surprised by the kind of outpouring?
I think it's amazing, to see so many people from so many diverse backgrounds. There's, one of my students is the president of the student association, and he stood up for his students and voiced his words. The community organizations, the environmental organizations, the labor unions, the faculty, the students themselves. I mean, this is really truly, I think, an amazing occurrence of the coming together of all these disparate groups and people just really rallying. And this is I think just the start. I think there's a very positive move forward. I remember Proposition A money was promised towards huge infrastructure improvements, and then Proposition B money, was promised for huge infrastructure improvements, and nobody knows what happened or where it went. And we hire these people to come in, these consultants, and they put out these master plans, and they have all these grandiose drawings and paintings and architectural renderings and plans to, that they submit, master facility plans and master educational plans, and they give them to all the accreditation bodies and all the governmental agencies. And then, where does the money go? What happened to it? Why didn't these things happen? And then we got to go to the corporations to get the funding to keep the buildings from falling down.
The billionaires who aren't paying any taxes. You got all these tech billionaires, 130 billionaires in California, and they can't afford free public education, great public education.
Yeah, and I bet their kids don't go to community colleges. They don't go to public schools either. I bet they don't pay taxes. I live in this district, and I pay taxes in this district, and I'm being gentrified out of Oakland. I'm a pretty well-paid instructor. I'm not complaining. Everybody could get more, but I can't even afford to live here anymore. And so I take it very personally.
Okay, James Van with the Stay the Right Way Coalition. I'm a member of COM, Coalition of Advocates for Lake Merritt. And COM has been very instrumental in Measure DD, which has put $200 million in improvements around the lake and various parks and waterways throughout the city. So we're very protective of the lake area.
So why were you opposed to the stadium project?
It was not a good fit. They wanted to bring a stadium right in the middle of an educational community and a residential community. The residential community is very fragile. These are people who've lived here a long time in Chinatown and in East Lake. They have affordable rents at the present time. So their entire communities would be gone through gentrification if a stadium came in. Some of the A's fans bragged about they would welcome new hotels and new restaurants and upscale business interests and so forth. And I asked one, I said, do you recognize that in order to build new hotels, somebody has to move? That it's going to mean displacement of what's here. He hadn't thought of that. And I said, where does a person go who loses their housing in Oakland? Long, long way from Oakland. You cannot get another place in Oakland for what you're paying now. So you're destroying those communities. The A's have a perfect spot in the Coliseum, over 150 acres of land that's totally undesignated, is fully provisioned with infrastructure. they could build almost any kind of community and mega development they want in that area, and it would also benefit the community as well. Here, none of that exists. The city would have to put in at least $250 million in infrastructure improvements. BART itself would have to put in $100 million to improve the Lake Mary station to bring it up to par. The roads cannot possibly.
We have gridlock now here.
Yeah, gridlock. There's no way the two streets that serve this area, Fifth Avenue and East 8th, can carry the traffic for 35 to 45,000 people stadium. This thing should never have gotten out of the front door. The instant it came to the board, it should have been turned down. So,
my name is Ruben Leal. I'm here to say no stadium at Laney and to congratulate the Board of Trustees for ending talks with Oakland A's administration or Oakland A's team. I'm a long life resident of Oakland, and I'm a devout A's fan. Some of my earliest fondest memories are in the Coliseum Stadium with my family, spending time there, but I'm still against this stadium being built here at this location. I think they should build at their current location. They're going to be the only team there. They have acres and acres to play with. They don't need to come here and disrupt not only the community but the students that are here. And yeah, that's all I'm saying. No stadium at Laney. Now go A's.
We were going to get it, and we have an out clause to get the people
Public forum, public comment.
Unless we can do our work right here, we're going to recess the meeting because this is about Peralta and this is about our students, and we're going to do this. So are we going to give this 5 more minutes? All right, you know what? Recess. Recess. I'm gonna ask one more time. If we can't have respect for Peralta, we are going to take a recess. The students are the issue right here. All right, you know what? Recess. 5-minute recess.
Let us speak. 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 Let us speak.
John, people should just go to speak. They're having a recess.
Currently, Oakland is under a crisis, a gentrification crisis. People are being moved out to East Contra Costa and all the way out as far as to Stockton and everywhere else. I want to see people stay in Oakland. I understand that economic development is important in the city, but we have to understand at what cost does it mean to the students. There are a lot of issues. One of my colleagues just mentioned food and housing insecurities. These are real issues that we are facing right now. We don't need a cramped stadium in the middle of Oakland that's not going to benefit anyone. It's only going to create traffic.
Excuse me, who conceded their time to?
Iman Khalili.
Iman, I'm not finding that card.
It was a white speaker card. Yes, they are present. If right there.
Okay, thank you. All right, you have 1 minute left.
Okay.
I'm not finding it.
Okay. In addition to that, why do we need a stadium in Oakland when we already have one 4 miles down the road? I understand that it can possibly bring jobs, but I'm pretty sure there'll be minimum wage jobs that won't allow students to be able to properly live in the city of Oakland or anywhere in the Bay Area for that matter. So please, Chancellor, with all due respect, keep that in mind. In addition to that, like I said, move up the public comments. These students right now are facing finals week. I have finals week. And all these students being out here show that they care about what they support. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
For example, the mayor and Annabelle, our council members, have failed to stand with us, but you did. And we know it's a very hard choice. My great-grandpa immigrated to the U.S. 70 years ago. Like many other immigrants, he was looking for new opportunities. Instead, when he arrived, he faced racist housing covenants, and the only place he was allowed to live was in Chinatown. I myself immigrated from Toisan, China, to the United States with my family when I was 13. to be reunited with my grandparents, aunts, and uncle. We have nothing but $5,000 debts that we borrowed from families and friends for our flight ticket to the U.S. That's one example for you as to why the medium income in Chinatown was so low, because many of us have nothing to begin with, and we spent years and years trying to build that up. My family and I lived in a converted garage which was built to host the 5 of us. At the time, I barely know my ABCs. However, we were able to ask for directions, buy our groceries, find dentists, doctors who speak our language, and find the services that we need, all within few blocks of Chinatown. Chinatown is the home that is built by oppressed Chinese immigrants to support each other. Without the support network that Chinatown has offered to new immigrant families like ours, my family and I would have stayed below poverty line a lot longer. And I know many immigrants like myself relied on community college like Laney and others for quality educations for ESL learners. And Chinatown is our roots, and Laney is our nutrient sources for us to grow. That is why I committed to serve my community as a community organizer in this neighborhood. Now, Chinatown and East Lake and neighborhoods nearby are being taken over by private developers and land speculators who don't have any respect for our history and culture. They're building luxury high-rises condos, driving up rents, and pushing out families and seniors like the ones you see here today. If they're allowed to continue, they will destroy the sanctuaries that we have built for generations. I'm here to fight for the future where new immigrants can stay and thrive in this neighborhood that we've built for generations. And thank you again.
You is Jeff Sinceri, Brad Sharuchian, and also Blake Johnson. So I'd first like to start by expressing my gratitude to all of you for making the very good and right decision to suspend any discussions with the Oakland A's regarding the location of a new stadium on Peralta land. The faculty, students, and community members are all really grateful to all of you for making a difficult decision, listening to their concerns, and ensuring that quality public education remains our top priority. Next, I'd like to express concern over a couple of items that appear on the agenda tonight. In closed session, you approved 2 more interim positions around the district and extended 11 more. Included in that group of extensions is a contract extension for another interim administrator who's already been in place for more than a year, in clear violation of AP 7125 that states, an interim appointee will serve for the time necessary to allow for full and open recruitment for the position, provided that the acting or interim appointment or series of acting or interim appointments not exceed 1 year. Also on the agenda is next year's board meeting calendar, which I see you've pulled for action. Despite AP 6250, which indicates that the board will be providing direction for budgeting in February, budgetary issues do not appear as a primary topic of conversation on the calendar until June once again. Not on the agenda are a number of issues that remain unresolved and are really central to the ongoing work of faculty, staff, and students in Peralta. What was this $6 million deal between the A's and the district? Why didn't that arrangement go through our shared governance process? And why does there remain a paucity of discussion around it? Why did we all learn about this by reading the newspaper? What is the status of the stadium discussion? The vague nature of the statement provided to the Peralta community, faculty, staff, and students, and the variety of statements made in the press are concerning because of their lack of clarity. What is the plan for the budget? In December 1st, C-Direct, the Chancellor stated, "We are committed to transparency in the budget process. I promised the board that a committee will review our budget with me and that we will revise the budget in January. PBC has an ad hoc budget group that will also be working on the budget. No further clarification has been provided so far. Faculty leave after this week, after they finish up finals, and will be gone for the holiday break, precluding any kind of shared governance. And as a member of that PBC ad hoc group, I can tell you that we've met once and have not done or completed any work so far. Rumors about what's happening in Peralta abound because there's no clarity provided to us. We claim that we're a shared governance district and that we adhere to policies and procedures, but that is clearly not happening. It's starting to feel like there's a lack of transparency and that lack of transparency is deliberate. The PFT continues to hope that that's not true, and we will continue to work to ensure that our voices are heard and that transparency prevails. I have an added comment at the end, this is an addendum, about item 11.3. I'm really concerned and puzzled by the pulling of this item and the aggressive questioning of the proposal. We finally have a vice chancellor in place who's really trying to make some positive changes at the district. And I wonder what's the source of this mistrust. Where were questions about the timelines and deliverables with regard to these many interim appointments or changes in general fund spending over the last year? In addition to delaying much needed upgrades required for faculty and staff to simply do their work and be paid, we are talking about potentially negatively affecting our students. Is the board really willing to risk that?
The Board of Trustees has moved its public comments at the beginning of its meetings before the closed sessions. I urge you to consider doing the same thing on behalf of the students and the community. So I appreciate the board members who terminated discussion of the baseball stadium prioritizing the educational mission of Laney College. Privatization pressures are not unique here. And City College, Mr. Zeltzer already mentioned it, we are under great threat after losing 1/3 of our student enrollment, roughly 30,000 students. We're just beginning for the first time in 5 years to increase. And there's this development being proposed. It started when we were under state takeover. And there may be as many as 1,100 units, and it will take over the spillover parking land that's been used for over 50 years, and there's not due consideration of the college, its needs, and the community. So
You're
I think
at 1
you
minute,
need,
so I'm going to need you to wrap it up.
okay. I urge you to continue to finalize your decision about the baseball so that the community can have closure.
So I'm Kimberly King. I'm a professor in psychology and African American studies at Laney College. I'm the coordinator of the Umoja program at Laney College, and I'm on our faculty senate and a member of the PFT Executive Council. And I really want to thank the Board of Trustees for voting to stop the discussions around the stadium. I really appreciate that you made that decision, those who voted for it, and that you made the decision to not sell or lease our land to a corporation and instead to focus on the educational mission of Peralta. However, some of us are kind of confused. I don't know if you received my email last week. Trying to ask the Chancellor for more clarification because of some statements that were made, for example, in the Chronicle, which other people have mentioned about, I would never say the door is closed, so that's a little concerning to us, and that's why we're here today. If there would have been more clear statements, I don't think we would be here today. And then finally, I do want to just let you know that the eyes and the ears, of the faculty, students, and staff are open now, and we're going to be, really trying to get involved and help you do the best you can for our students. So thank you very much.
But it's places like Laney that have given us the opportunity to come out and away from our struggles, to believe our talents, faith in our strengths, and power in our voices. Oakland is a stomping ground for revolutionaries that have shaped the world, souls that never stopped until justice was served. And Laney is more than a college to us. Education, skills, people, power, these are just the few things we deserve. And if the A's had even set foot on this land, everything would change. Not just the concrete beneath our feet or the structures that once stood there, but the people. The people would change, the people would leave, and they'd have nowhere nowhere to go. What life is there to lead when the one place you called home is replaced by a large foreign dome, upscaled homes that would never cease to afford, heavy foot traffic between baseball games and BART alone, disrupting neighborhoods and valued education. This is not the Oakland we know. Oakland is much more than a baseball, and we know that a price tag can never replace its charm. And the reason I think of Laney when I think of Oakland is because we are Oakland. We made it what it is and still is today. A profitable number and accessible sport games will never sustain the appeal.